Hello again. Bet you didn't think you'd be seeing me this soon with all this craziness. Surprise! I finished a book before I even posted the video about my last book. Shh. Don't tell anyone. What book did I read this time? Fantastic book that I picked up just because the cover intrigued me. Ta-da! Robin Wasserman's The Book of Blood and Shadow. I have to show you what's under the jacket. Let's strip it down. Bam! Nothing. But when you turn here, this little symbol right here, get you a nice close-up. Whoa! That's important. When I read books that have dust jackets, I tend to take the dust jackets off so that it's more comfortable for me to read, unless the jacket is taped on for a library book or something. But I was pleasantly surprised when I took that off and saw that, because I was like, this is an interesting little symbol. What does it mean? And going through this book, I learned what it meant, and it was really interesting. Oh, I have to show you the inside cover of the book, because that's pretty cool too. It's no map, but it is a skyline. I believe it's Prague. What does Prague have to do with my Book of Blood and Shadows? Everything. This book starts off with Nora. She's had a pretty tough time. Her brother died, and miraculously, out of her intense knowledge of Latin, she got a full scholarship to Chapman Prep School. So she went off to the other side of town to a fancy school where nobody knew her. New beginnings, nothing could haunt her. So she thinks. And in this new beginning, she happens to run into somebody from her past. Chris. He is witty, funny, class clown, everybody loves him guy. He went to school with her and knew all about her past. And he overheard her one day when somebody asked her, "Do you have any siblings?" She's like, "No, I'm an only child." He didn't say anything, but later on when they were alone, he's like, "You don't remember me, do you? Like, you had a brother." And for some unspoken reason, like, he knew not to say anything about it. And that's what instantly strikes their friendship. And there is a third part to this beautiful triangle of friendship, Adrienne. She is your beautiful, long, silky hair, skinny, fantastically smart, but hides that fact, doesn't let anybody know, and does random yoga stretches and poses, not to get attention, but she knows it does get attention, so she'll do that. But yeah, so from the beginning, Adrienne and Chris kind of take her on as new girl, their best friend. The three of them become inseparable. And at some point, Chris goes to college, and then they end up translating some book, some really old book that through the ages everybody has needed and wanted to know what it says. And because of Nora's intense knowledge in Latin, she was chosen as an extracurricular thing through high school to do a lot of this translating. So her, Chris, and his mysterious roommate Max did all the translating for this book. And some of the things that they come up with were troublesome. Because Nora was just a girl, she was assigned to translate all these letters from Elizabeth. Because the Hoff didn't think that they were really important, so he passed it off, the girl stuff, to the girl. And that's what she thought. And there's so much dynamic through all of this translating and stuff. Through their adventures of the translating, you wouldn't think that'd be very exciting, but it is, ta-da! Only because of the way Robin Wasserman wrote it. Ah, so good. I was really excited because I've never read any of her books, and I didn't know what I'd think of it, but just the title caught my attention because it kind of reminded me of Charmed. Just the title of the book, I was like, okay, I can read it. And it turned out to be such a fantastically twisted adventure where through all the translations of this special book, Adrienne kind of pushes Nora to date Max because Max and Chris are roommates and Adrienne and Chris are dating, and it's kind of like Nora's always the third wheel, but now she has Max. And there's a whole crazy story that goes on there. And then at some point, certain people die, and there's craziness, the cops are after other people, and the senior class has a trip to Paris, and Nora and Adrienne decide to take a little side trip to Prague because of little clues that have led her along the way. She's searching for Max. Max has gone missing. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's so in love with him, like praying that he's safe and so much, and there's just so much that goes on in this book that your mind is just like, wow. The way Robin writes about Prague is so intertwined and beautiful. Like, I know nothing about Latin, and it's really interesting to see little experts of Latin in the book, and then the translations, and then there's a whole lot of code breaking, and I'm not good with any of that stuff, and anagrams or any of that, but I really like how it's written in the book. It helps me understand a little bit more, but I'm just not the most linguistically inclined, I guess. So much happens in this book. There's this whole search about the lumen die. I can't pronounce that, sorry. And people turn out to be not who they think they are. Mysterious cousins show up and they're not who you think they are. And there's so much intertwined dynamic. And people are hunting after Nora because she's apparently the chosen one. And yeah, without telling you too much more of the story, I'm going to leave it at that and say this book has been fantastically written. And if you like any sort of historical but fantastic, awesome adventure books, this is the book for you. I really liked it. I read a vast array of books. I have quite an eclectic collection of books behind me here. But yeah, this is one of the books I really liked. My favorite author, because she's what got me into reading, is Mary Higgins Clark. And that's all murder mysteries. And so to have a murder in this book and be such a mystery, I really just dove into it and flew through it. As soon as there was a murder, bam, I had to know what happened. I knew nothing of this book before reading it, so everything was new and fresh to me, and it was amazing. I didn't even read the synopsis on the back. I just said, ooh, pretty cover, bought it. Not going to judge a book by its cover, but turned out awesome. Anyway, you guys should read this book, and if you have, tell me what you think down in the comments. I gotta go.